Right now on 7 News at 5, the Republican National Convention features South Carolina's Nikki Haley. She'll be on center stage tonight. It was a last-minute invite as Republicans pivot to a message of unity.
Also on the way, coming together for community prayer. This following the assassination attempt against former President Trump. We hear what it meant to those in attendance.
And cooling down in the summer heat. They have stations opened up across Spartanburg County right now trying to help keep you safe. We're headed live to one of those cooling centers.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us here at 5. 7 News is your local election headquarters. Today marks day 2 of the Republican National Convention.
Former President Donald Trump made his debut at the convention center in Milwaukee, Wisconsin after officially receiving the party nomination. Here's Raquel Martin with more.
Delegates here at the Republican National Convention are still talking about last night's emotional appearance by the now officially nominated Donald Trump. There were loud cheers and, for the closest to Donald Trump, even tears, as the former president made an emotional entrance to the Republican National Convention, wearing a bandage on his ear where a bullet struck on Saturday.
He has come back stronger, more vibrant.
Republican lawmakers and delegates from across the country say it was a special night.
It's electric. It's fantastic.
There was a pivotal moment after that assassination attempt.
Mahek Cook is a delegate representing Ohio, home to Trump's pick for vice president, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance.
It's been a game changer. This is a massive pick for future generations.
Vance is just 39 years old. He served in Iraq as a U.S. Marine. He was once a Trump critic, but has become an outspoken MAGA loyalist. New York Congressman Mike Lawler says Vance's Rust Belt roots will help Trump win key battleground states like Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania.
Senator Vance is blue-collar, working-class guy from Ohio, humble beginnings.
Tonight, the party unites behind candidate Trump. Early campaign opponents, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, will take the stage to salute the Republican nominee.
Last night's theme centered around economic issues. Tonight's theme is Make America Safe once again, with a focus on border issues, migrant crime, and fentanyl. You can watch all the coverage of the Republican National Convention this evening on 7 News. It all begins at 10 o'clock tonight, followed by 7 News at 11.
And if Trump were to win in November, 39-year-old Senator J.D. Vance would become one of the youngest vice presidents in American history. Caitlin Huey-Burns has a deeper look at Senator Vance's past and why he was chosen.
I plan to be a very good vice president for Donald Trump for 4 years.
Last night, Senator J.D. Vance said it was an honor to be picked as Donald Trump's running mate on the Republican presidential ticket. Vance was one of the first senators to endorse Trump's 2024 bid and has become a top surrogate and fundraiser on the campaign trail, even appearing at the former president's criminal trial in New York. A Marine veteran who served in Iraq and a Yale Law School graduate, Vance rose to fame in 2016 after publishing his best-selling memoir titled Hillbilly Elegy.
Where you going, J.D.?
Later turned into a movie where he detailed his upbringing in a working-class family in Kentucky and Ohio. But back in 2016, during Trump's first presidential campaign, Vance was far from the staunch ally he is now.
I'm a never Trump guy. I never liked him.
Even calling Trump cultural heroin in an op-ed, and once in a message to a friend suggesting a comparison to Hitler. And he had this to say about one woman's claim that Trump had groped her.
And at the end of the day, do you believe Donald Trump, who always tells the truth? Just kidding. Or do you believe that woman on that tape?
No. But by the time he launched his Senate bid in Ohio, Vance had walked back his criticisms of Trump and earned his endorsement.
He said some bad things about me, but that was before he knew me, and then he fell in love.
For his part, President Biden was quick to criticize Trump's VP pick.
He's a clone of Trump on the issues. A clone of Trump on the issues. So I don't see any difference.
Caitlin Huey-Burns, CBS News, Milwaukee.
And we are learning more about the attempt on former President Donald Trump's life today. There are new details of the moments right before the 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks opened fire at Saturday's campaign rally in western Pennsylvania, hitting Trump in the ear with a bullet. A local law enforcement officer says 3 snipers from local tactical teams were stationed in the building that the shooter used in his attack. And at one point, one of the snipers spotted Crooks looking through a rangefinder and immediately radioed to the command post. When Crooks was spotted again with a backpack, the officer called for backup, but by the time the other officers responded, the gunman had scaled the building. The House Committee on Homeland Security announced it's holding a hearing next week on the circumstances that surround the attack.
In days after that assassination attempt on the former president, local interfaith leaders and activists joined together in community prayer. Our Ariana Meadows was there.
Preachers, activists, and community members gathered to pray at John Wesley United Methodist Church.
In a time organizers describe as chaos, they tell us it was fitting to host a community prayer.
Our differences, especially when it comes to political differences, need to be settled at the ballot, not by the bullet. Everybody gets out to vote. They make their choice. That's it. We deal with who's selected, good, bad, or indifferent.
Saturday at former President Donald Trump's campaign rally in Pennsylvania, Trump was grazed by a bullet. One person died and 2 others were hurt.
That which I saw on Saturday was very alarming. And I fear that if we don't start now, it's going to get worse. Once and for all, let us be the generation, let us be the age that stamp out hate and racism, and discrimination, and all of the divisive level of politics that we have at play. Let us be the generation that stop that and truly see our neighbor as our neighbor and see our friend as our friend.
After a series of prayers about peace, unity, and change, activists and preachers voiced hopes for the community moving forward.
You know, we can pray all day, but if we're not being effective in the prayer, if we're not going out there and putting in the work, actually unifying with each other, actually creating a space of peace and freedom for people, and then it's just going to fall flat.
Activists say the community prayer wasn't just a push for peace on a national level, but from a local standpoint as well.
A few weeks ago, my life was threatened, and it was a very intense experience. It was an experience that I had never felt before, being targeted just because I'm black and because I run an organization that people perceive speaks up for black people, made this person target me. And I just felt like it was not okay.
Organizers say there was a peaceful presence in the room as people from different backgrounds and religious denominations stood up to speak.
I think that is a moving experience, and I believe it also moves God to intervene on behalf of humanity and do something.
In Greenville, Ariana Meadows, 7 News.
Community activists say they plan to host more of these community prayers in the future.
Happening now, 7 News is caring for the Carolinas today. We're collecting food and supplies for people who really need some help. 7 News' Chief Meteorologist Chrissy Henderson is at the Ingalls in Greer. She is live this afternoon, trying to keep it cool, Christy, I know, but it's kind of tough out there, isn't it?
You know, it really is, Amy. We got a fan going, but the air is just so warm. It takes its toll. Hopefully people that work outside have taken lots of breaks, gotten into the shade. But yeah, this is the Caring for the Carolinas food drive, and it's your opportunity to help people that need food. Their pantries are bare, and we're specifically helping out Loaves and Fishes of Greenville County. So you can see all the things that people have dropped by so far. We've got rice, we've got tuna. These Pop Tops are fantastic because you don't need a can opener for that. Here's some Beanie Weenies, and you've got time until 6 o'clock. We're going to be here collecting food. We're at the Ingalls in Greer, right off of Locust Hill Road, north of Highway 29. Really easy to find, so hopefully you can make your way over here. If you don't have some extras in your pantry right now and you have time to stop in and grab a few cans and drop them off on your way out of Ingalls, that would be great too. Meantime, it is hot out here. It's hot and humid. We've had a couple of showers and thunderstorms that have popped up A little bit of activity in western North Carolina from Macon County into Jackson County. We have one severe storm that's worked eastward into Cleveland County. And then around the upstate, a few areas of rain continuing, but no widespread activity. So lots of folks just having to deal with the heat and humidity today. Temperatures are in the 80s and 90s. Going to be a warm evening. Low rain chances overall, and in the morning we'll start out with warm, muggy conditions once again. We'll check out the 7-day forecast right here from Greer coming up in just a few minutes. Back to you, Amy, Taylor.
Christy, thank you. A 7 News alert. Multiple organizations across Spartanburg County are opening their doors to the community to help them stay cool during this heat. Our Scarlett Liz Jack is live at one of those cooling centers. Hey, Scarlett.
Hey, so there are 11 cooling stations open across the county, and right here is one of them. I'm here at the Tiger River Fire Department. July has been a sweltering month in the upstate, and while many people have air conditioning, some are still not able to beat the heat.
We don't know everybody's situation. There are some people that, may not can afford the higher power bill or may have a broken AC.
Deputy Fire Chief at Tiger River Fire Department Sean Harder says every summer they respond to heat-related calls.
We do have heat emergencies. You have heat exhaustion is, where you start feeling lightheaded, may get sick to your stomach, but that can progress to heat stroke where your body loses the ability to cool down, and that's a life-threatening situation. In this area we have a lot of construction, and when people are in the heat all day, we do run some heat-related calls, and then our occupation ourselves, if we have to go to a structure fire or any type of emergency where we're wearing our protective gear, we have to make sure we're hydrated as well.
To help the community stay cool and hydrated, Tiger River Fire Department, along with several other organizations, are opening their doors.
We have a partnership with Spartanburg County Emergency Management. They've partnered with some area fire departments to provide a cooling station for our local residents. So all of our lobbies are open between 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. Where they can come in off the street, get cool, get a bottle of water.
Harder says the invitation is open to anyone who needs to escape the heat.
It's for any vulnerable residents, or basically anybody just needing to get out of the heat. A couple people stop by just for a few minutes, get a bottle of water, and just a cool spot. But as this heat wave continues through the end of July and into August, we just wanted people to know that these locations are available for them to come and get cool.
Now we're told the cooling stations will remain open as long as this heat persists. Reporting live in Lyman, Scarlett Lisjack, 7 News.
Scarlett, thank you so much. Fire stations participating and in Spartanburg Emergency Management are taking water bottle donations. Some other cooling center locations include Boiling Springs Fire, Duncan Fire, and Campobello Fire. You can find a full list and their addresses on our website, WSPA.com.
The verdict is in. U.S. Senator Robert Menendez has been found guilty in that complex bribery scheme. We have the latest from that hearing coming up.